So welcome everybody. Welcome to Hot Song Podcast. The topic for this evening is Fear Transmutation, and today is April the 24th, 2025. So more specifically, I want to talk about fear of death, because whether we know it or not, fear of death is kind of the unconscious fuel for all of our other fears and worries, and pretty much anything that is that impacts our emotions. Is if you ask questions, if you dig deep enough, it's really fear of death. It's really the underlying of all that. um for example, human beings, there are the fear of falling is one of the most the natural fear that we are born with. And because when we fall, then we get hurt, and if we hurt, then we may die. So if you really look at if you just ask you a few questions, you will know that a lot of the worries, anxiety, or even happiness that we have is all actually underlying fear of death. So, for example, if you worry about not having enough money, for example, if you just ask yourself, a few questions, you would get to the underlying is that fear of death. Because if you don't have enough money, then you're not going to be able to afford, a nice, a safe place, a nice, safe place to live. You're not going to be able to afford, good food. Then that's going to impact your health, and then eventually you're going to die. So if you ask just a few questions, that pretty much all of the emotions we have, then it is about fear of death. And even happiness, let me put it this way, even happiness, if you ask a few questions, why do you feel happy? Because I feel safe, or because I feel loved. But why do you want to be loved? If you think, if like ask a few questions, you know that, well, you want to be loved because when you're loved, you feel safe. Why do you feel safe? Why do you want to feel safe? Because if you're not safe, then you're gonna die. So it's just whether it is a positive emotion or negative emotion. If you ask a few questions, dig a little bit further down, the underlying core is really fear of death. So I want to talk a little bit about fear of death. It is, so first questions I would ask is, so who is afraid to die? Of course, it is not the eternal, it's not the eternal part of us. It's really the body, the physicality, and also the personality, the human part of us that is identified with the body. That's the part of us that actually has that fear of death. And so part of the part of the way is really to understand that, okay, so who is afraid? It's not the real you. It's actually the personality part of it. Nothing's wrong with it, because the personality part of it is the soul works through the personality part of us, the physicality of us as well. It's, however, it's really a matter of perspective. When you know that, oh, okay, when I feel that fear is really kind of overwhelming, then you know that you're over identifying with parts of you. Then if you want to shift out of that fear, then part of the work that you need to do is to integrate the physicality and the personality part of you more with the rest of you that is immortal. So that is the work that if you want to shift out of the fear, that's the work that you need to do. Or and also to understand that because death is really an illusion. The body, yes, the body is actually a program. It's a very sophisticated program that allows us to simulate what matter feels like, what something feels like. So that's really the I know it may be a little far-fetched for all of you to understand that, what do you mean the body is a program? But if you look deeper into it, you will understand that it is part of a program. It is nothing's wrong with it. It's just that this program was created so that we can simulate what it feels like, what something feels like, what being embodied feels like, what having a body feels like. And that actually is how we get to master our mind. It is part of the journey to mastery. So it's a long journey. And when we start to notice these things, notice the fear, notice what's underneath it, then we can facilitate the transmutation of it as well. So, any comments, questions so far? All clear? Okay. Actually, all that I wanted to really talk about, because I want to structure this so that it is not really about me talking, but about you having an experience of starting to untangle this time, starting to release this. So I'm just going to do a share screen now. So we'll look at just want to talk a little bit about next step. So this is all. And so the next I want to actually do 2 meditation to release with you all. The first one is to actually just activate source frequency. There is a specific source frequency that is to do with fear transmutation and empowerment. So that is the part of the source frequency that we want to call on and use that to shift the fear of death. So that's the first thing. And then the next one is about using, because last week we talked about going into the void. And within the void, we can actually do a healing. So first one is really to heal more of the emotional and mental part of it. And the second one is really to get to work on the body, because the body store emotions. So fear of death is something that we stored in the body as well. So the second one is really to use the void frequency and energy of the void to work on the body, to clean up. So that's how we can do both. In this way, we can kind of do a more holistic clearing of this fear of death. So that's what we're going to do next. Any questions before I start to do the meditation?
Like you said, Vinny, how do we know that we have this fear? Maybe just sitting in our subconscious.
How do I know what?
How do we know we have such a fear about death?
You ask questions. So if you let's say you have the pain in the body, or you have a worry, or whatever it is that kind of is a negative, something negative in your life, then you ask what's going on. And then, and for example, I think I gave this the example is that, you and you are, for example, you are worried about not having enough money. And then you ask yourself, the question is, so why do you worry about not having enough money? What does not having enough money mean for you? And then you just, kind of do a mind dump, just write down all of the things, and then you kind of look at each one and say, okay, so what's underneath that? So if you ask questions and then you keep drilling down, then usually you will come to fear of death.
So the only way I can think of is if you go from the money point, that you're worried that your money won't last you till you die. Or
Mm-hmm.
for me, right now, like I have this palliative care sort of client in the nursing home that I help, and I noticed that when she's like in her mind is active. She's all the time thinking about dying. Like she will eat and drink a little bit, but then she'll talk about death. And the other day, like she was asking me, "Can you find me something like fire to kill myself?" Like sort of.
I,
And
I, I can't really hear what you're saying.
she asked for like you have fire or you have a fork or a knife. She asked for implements sort of to kill herself, even though she wouldn't even have the strength to hold that.
Mm-hmm.
So then I started thinking that maybe we're just forcing her to be alive because of the family, the hold on the family. For the children, it is very hard because she's their mother.
Mm-hmm.
But when I look at it from an outside perspective, I had a cancer patient once, and I kind of inferred to a friend, not directly to the family, but that they should let her go because she's going through so much pain and she's holding a brave face just because of the family, for the family, for her children and the husband.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if the message went to them or not, but somehow she did pass away soon after.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of debating now how to tell this family that they know that it's a terrible life for her. Like either she's not eating or drinking and they have to put saline, and she has 2 ports in her stomach where they give her pain injections every 4 hours. And I'm thinking, what is the quality of life that she's just existing?
And what is your question?
No, how can you tell somebody else that it's time to? Because I feel like if we, the family, close people think that it is time for her to go and let her go, her soul will sort of appreciate that.
I'm still not sure what you're asking. Are you,
How do you approach that kind of
how do I approach that? I don't approach that. It's
I know
not
you would.
my concern.
Yeah.
It's like it's someone
No,
else's life. Who am I to say to them what is right and what is not right for them?
it's
They
not
are the
about being
ones that have
right.
to make that choice.
No, it's not about right or wrong. I'm just saying mentally they should be, you know, focusing more on letting her go if she wants to. Like they let her soul leave because she's literally just existing. She's not
It's
having any
not,
life.
it's not for me to judge.
No, it's not for you. Like I'm just saying for me to approach them like that. Would it be wrong?
And okay. So whatever it is that you feel is just speak from your heart then. Just
Sorry, just
just speak from your heart. Whatever it is that's within your heart. Just and just tell them what it is that you, because what all we can do is give a, it's really to give a different perspective. Whether they accept it or not, it's all up to
yeah,
them.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so then whatever it is that is from your heart, if you feel you want to say something, then whatever it is from your heart, just tell them.
Because it's not in my interest, anyways. I will lose the job. So, but I don't feel like I feel like somewhat uncomfortable that I'm just
I think
taking
it's
money.
not your business to say anything. I
No,
would be
not
so mad at you, God forbid you told me something like that.
okay.
I would fire you at the spot.
Okay, thank you for your insight, Raga. Just 1 second, I wasn't finished. Uh, what I'm saying is, it it just makes me feel uncomfortable that I am making money out of this situation. I mean, I know on the one hand I need it, but I don't want to do it at the cost of somebody suffering so much. That is my way of looking at it.
Mhm. So you have to look at why you feel guilty, because
Because
you
I
didn't
can
talk them
see her
into it.
suffering, and I really find it really hard. I have to sit 3-4 hours with her, and I can feel that she really has. This is not just 1 or 2 months. It's like 5-6 months that I've known her since last September. And when she was fine that time, it was good. But the last 3-4 months, like even the hospital has brought a palliative care doctor who comes and visits time to time,
Mm.
you know. So they also know.
It is their
And the son does not live here. I think the daughter who lives here, she is would be more acceptable to that. But her other son, who lives in Rochester, and he's a doctor, so he visits her every 1 or 2 weeks for a
mhm.
couple of days.
Okay.
And I would not approach him at all because I know
Yeah.
as doctor
You have to
it's
understand that that is so their family has a dynamic to play out.
right, right.
And it's really, it's their dynamic to play out. If you really feel uncomfortable, then you can make a choice to either, just look for a different job that does not stress you
No,
emotionally,
no, I don't want
or
to leave
or
them
you
in the ditch
just
like that. because they're
really.
depending on me quite a bit. They
What was
depend
that?
on me quite a bit to help out. Like they do all the adjustments because I speak the language that she speaks mostly,
Mhm,
and the other two caregivers are like Chinese, and they just come and sit with her. They are all loving people. Like
mhm.
it's just a thought that comes to me time to time. Like it's not
Okay.
constantly that I'm thinking about it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's I I think the best suggestion I have is really to, have a chat with mm, yourself. Is do you feel comfortable? If you don't feel comfortable, then why? And if you kind of know why, then you have a choice of either releasing guilt because the service you offer is valuable. That's why people pay for it.
Right.
But and when you have a judgment about, ex the situation, that really is.
It's not a judgment. It's a feeling. It's a feeling. It's a really emotional feeling. Like you would sense something that somebody is going through.
Yes, and it is their dynamic. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. I know
It's
logically.
their dynamic. It's their karma that they are playing out.
Mm,
So you have to ask yourself, what part do you want to play in it? If you don't feel comfortable continuing on it, then don't. Just take yourself out of it.
no, that is not a choice I would do. I know that
Okay.
for sure.
Yep. If you
I'll just manage. Okay. I'm just waiting for a chance. If I get a chance, I will mention it.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. That's like one form of fear, like for me. That's what I'm trying to say. Recently, I've had quite a few people first pass away, and I've had to go to. I was at a funeral even yesterday, and for me, it was like that poor man suffered a lot, and it was good that he passed away. And his wife has taken it pretty well. I think she was kind of expecting it too.
Mhm. Um, I also just want to put it out there that in 3D, suffering does shift the soul. That's not the case in 5D, but in 3D, yes, suffering is can transmute the soul. So if you think suffering is not good, then that's just one point of view.
So, where is the difference between 5D?
Yep, there's a difference.
What would be different?
In 5D, there is no suffering. Yes, your body has pain and aches. Yes. But then it is a signal to tell you that you need to shift something within yourself. So you look at it as a signal, not as something bad, but it's a process that you go through.
Right. The more accepting sort of.
Okay. If you don't want people to suffer, you're resisting. So whatever it is that you're resisting, you're actually holding it in place.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying don't be compassionate, but to know that there is a reason why things are the way it is. If you look behind the reason, then you'll be able to find out what it is that needs to be done. And to also understand that we are each and every one of us, capable of shifting even the worst case scenario when we don't resist it, when we kind of just accept that, okay, it is the way it is right now.
Yeah.
And then start to you realize that you can shift it. And when you make that choice, then things will start to move out of your way. Things will start to work out. Maybe not exactly as you want it to be, but it will work out better than what it was.
Because I have had clients who have done it. They've chosen for themselves to leave. And the family and the doctors cooperated. Many years ago, a Chinese lady, she was suffering badly. Like everything had to be done for her. She could only move her eyes, but her mind was still active. Her brain was still good. But she made the choice and she got the family together and she said she didn't want to continue anymore. And they respected her. And her son stayed in the room all night till she just said, "Stop feeding me," like because it was all being fed by a tube. So she said, "Stop feeding me," and the doctor gave her some medication to just keep her calm and let the life take its course. Like, but in 24 hours, like she passed away. And recently, there was another gentleman who I was helping, not as a client, just as a friend.
Battery low.
And that's
Battery low.
Sorry.
Battery low.
It's just my alarm system.
Battery low.
Yeah, it warns you because you're wearing it on your body. It's for a fall notice, like it has a GPS, so it works on that. Doesn't have any phone connection. But if you fall anywhere in North America, it can send you help because it's on the GPS. So the battery lasts 1.5 days and then tells you to put it back on charge. Anyways, so that this gentleman, he was so resistant to having help at the house. And he got up one morning, he opened the door, he accepted at least the government care person to come for a few hours. For 1 hour, they come and check. And he must have opened the door in the morning because she came in and found him in the bathroom, fell off the toilet and hit his head. It had actually broken his neck. Good that he had passed away. Otherwise, there was no hope for him.
Mhm.
So I think he chose to do something. His soul chose it. Something.
If we can choose to die.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can
This
choose
is
to
what
live
is
as well.
prompting to tell them that, see, she wants to die. Why are you are kind of holding on to her? because she has asked many, many times that she wants to die. And some days, like she's in so much drug and pain, and she doesn't eat or drink that she won't speak or anything. She has no strength to.
All I can say is
Yeah,
you just speak from your heart,
yeah, I
whatever
got
it is.
Mm. So, just to let you all know also what can happen. It's a different situation. Okay, let's move on. Sorry.
Mhm. Okay, so any other comments? No? Okay.